Hey, and welcome back to coverage of Grand Prix Providence here in Rhode Island. We're in the northeast section of the United States. My name is Marshall Sutcliffe. I'm in the booth with Jacob Van Loon. You get a picture of half of our top four here. Eric Phillips on the left side versus Shuhei Nakamura on the right. This is it. Single elimination. Yeah, this match will decide who gets to continue into the finals. So this is a high pressure situation for these players, and it has been a long, tough weekend of team play that has gotten them to this point, and nobody wants to go home now. Shuhei Nakamura leads off with a turd to Viscopa Guildmage. He's facing down, well, not much, an island and a swamp right now. Shuhei's in his favorite three-color combo. We've talked to him about it earlier in the weekend, and he loves playing Esper. I talked to Nate. He had a chat with him, and he told him that he would actually look to play Esper if he possibly could, and it looks like Shuhei has once again found his spot and found where he wants to be here. So Eric Phillips now has 3 lands, a swamp, and an island.
Yeah, he missed his third land drop for a turn, which is definitely not where you want to be here. But now he's got to tank about his decision. I'm sure he has a 3-drop if he kept a 2-lander.
He does, and it's a decent one here. It's going to stabilize the board. It's a hired Torturer, 2/3 with Defender, so it's going to be able to block that Viscopa Guildmage. And I think we're going to see an Obulsar Gatekeepers for Shuhei Nakamura. Can't be too excited about that as his 4-drop play with no gates, but hey, he'll take it.
Yeah, you know, there have been worse things. So it looks like Eric is unable to find a 4th land, but he does have a Clue Stone. So
he's going to go ahead and cast his 4th land here. All right, we're getting some adjustments to the table here. Rashad ran over there to do that for us here. Hey, there's a card I haven't seen in a while. It's Azorius Charm. Makes a big splash in Standard.
Yeah, it's really had quite the falling off since the advent of Voice of Resurgence.
Yep.
Looks like Shuhei is going to go ahead and play Clue Stone here.
He does. He's going to attack with both of his creatures, so he's sending one of them. He's sending the Viscopa Guildmage right into the higher Torture. There's a few cards that he could have that that Eric has to be worried about.
Yeah,
Swift Justice being probably the main one, but in this case it's going to be the Azorius Charm. And what Shuhei's doing is he's managing Eric's resources for him. He's basically blanking another draw step, knowing that he's missed a land drop, and he's saying, look, you're going to have to spend a whole nother turn replaying this thing, and he's just sort of making a big tempo play here.
Yeah, that's pretty rough for Eric Phillips because he really wants to draw that 4th land, and now he's stuck drawing a hired Torturer. And
yeah, now the good news for him though is that Eric does have that Clue Stone added to his board, so if he has a 4-mana spell, he can play it. Last time it was play the 2/3, then play the Clue Stone, and here it is. Here's a 4-drop. And he's got his own Ubulsar Gatekeeper, so that's going to presumably hold the Viscopa Guildmage at bay. Ooh. What was that a Simic Manipulator there, or is that a Murmuring Phantasm? Okay, a Murmuring Phantasm, much less impressive.
Although I do think he does have a Simic Manipulator in his deck.
Oh, okay.
Or it actually might be Eric who has it. I remember one of them has it.
Okay, well, they're both playing blue, so it's possible on either side here.
Yeah, they're both the Esper deck. I've watched Eric draft a few times this weekend, and he has often been on the Esper deck also. So.
Okay, do you think he's playing white here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know he is. I went over and looked at his deck. So.
Oh, you did? Okay. I think I saw a Guardian of the Gateless in Eric's hand, so that would indicate that he is, in fact, playing white. All right, so another Guildgate here for Shuhei. And he's got Murmuring Phantasm and Deputy of Acquittals in his hand. He has no attacks here. He just has to play the Murmuring Phantasm and ship the turn back. So while Shuhei's continuing to develop his board, the Murmuring Phantasm is not developing it in the direction that he wants to go. He wants to be able to keep pressure on while his opponent's off balance, and he's not really able to do that. And there's a Balustrade Spy. He says, I'm going to target you. So he's going to grind him. It's going to get 3 cards there.
Including a Pilfered Plans, which is pretty good at this stage of the game.
Absolutely. And there's a Executioner swing off the top, I believe, for Shuhei Nakamura.
This is going to allow him to swing in with his Ubulsar Gatekeepers if he so desires.
Okay, is that a Frilled Oculus as well in his hand?
It is a Frilled Oculus.
Now, do we know if he has a way to pump that?
I don't think he does.
Okay, it doesn't on the board, but he could have some random...
Looks like it might just be a black card for him.
Uh-huh.
Just the way he plays, he likes you know, the 1-3 and the 1-4 and the 2-4. That's a very Shuhei way of playing limited.
Okay, I would assume that if Shuhei has no other plays here, he's probably going to go ahead and crack that clue stone. He already has a white source of mana here.
He has plenty of mana at his disposal right now, and because of Eric's board, he doesn't really have any good attacks. So, ironically, Eric, despite missing all these land drops and doing nothing for so many turns, he's actually, you know, in fine shape on this board.
Yep, here comes a 5-drop, and there it is, Guardian of the Gateless, a 3/3 flying with a super relevant blocking ability here as well. And here it is, Shuhei Nakamura does go ahead and cycle his clue stone, draws a card. Is it an Agoraphobia or a Totally Lost? I couldn't quite see. And he's also got another addition to his board in the form of a Rune Wing. Oh, it's a Doorkeeper? Is that what that is, Jake? Can you see
it? It is a Doorkeeper.
Okay.
I think
it's
that's
a Doorkeeper.
what it is.
So
So
Shuhei is
another
in
wall.
full shields up mode here. Just those two cards.
He can very easily mill Eric out.
How is he going to mill him?
You know, he's got
got
multiple defenders in play.
He's got 2
You know,
defenders.
it's an Esper Mirror. Fortunately, I mean, Eric does have 2 flyers in play, but there's a pretty good chance that, you know, he can get an Executioner swing off on this Guardian, and then, you know, he'll be in great shape to win this game.
We see Martin Juza's hand come over and tell Shuhei that this card's pretty good, and he, in fact, is going to run out that Rune Wing. Okay, let's see what we have here. It's an Asperia's Skywatch. It's going to target the Rune Wing and detain it, and 5 damage is going to come in to Shuhei Nakamura. That's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely not a bad turn for Eric there.
Do you know if I was passing him or not?
If I knew, I wouldn't have asked.
Ooh, and that's a Simic Manipulator off the top there for Shuhei. Not where he really wants to draw that. Wants to draw that earlier in the game so that he can play all of his walls afterward and end up stealing all of his opponent's creatures.
That's right, but still, not
It's
too
still
bad.
Not the worst card he could get here.
Always gotta have something. I'm not exactly sure what it is.
I hear Martin Juza asking Ben Stark, he looks like he's facing a tough attack here, and he says, well, I know he's got to have something, but I don't know what it is.
What can he have? Like, who does this mana represent?
I have no idea.
Shuhei, so he's just going to take 8 and fall to 5 here.
Definitely multiple Fatal Fumes in the draft.
I'm gonna die unless I do this.
No, he's going to
So
go
I have
ahead
to
and...
do it, and it's just a matter
Huh?
of
Well,
how I'm gonna
Fatal
do
Fumes were definitely in the draft, like unaccounted for. Like he certainly could have it. He won't get one. I don't know what I'm supposed to tell you. I don't even know if I was passing him or not, but I don't know.
I take 8 out of 5.
So Ben Stark giving his best account of what Martin Juza's opponent could represent, but it sounds like he's not, doesn't have a strong idea of what that could be here. All right, here's a Warped Physique on the Guild Mage.
That's really good there. I mean, at this point, he's expecting Shuhei to go into a racing plan with the lifelink, and by using the Warp Physique on the Guild Mage, it really turns that off for him.
That's right, but
Yeah.
Can you
there is one of the main ways that Eric Phillips is going to be attacking is now off the table thanks to Executioner Swing here. Is it a creature for Shuhei Nakamura? Can he start getting...
I think it might have been Mirko Vosk.
Mirko Vosk, really?
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Wow. You're right, it is Mirko Vosk. That's going to get that Simic Manipulator just one counter away from being able to steal something. And almost as importantly, it's a 2/4 with flying that can now block one of the flying creatures. He can throw the Rune Wing in front. He can double block. It gives him a lot of options.
Super important. Great draw step there for Shuhei.
Yeah, fantastic. He's also one more creature away of almost any creature to get that Simic Manipulator big enough to steal the Balustrade Spy here as well.
Can you read the green-black Guild Mage? I think that's fine. What one? The green-black Guild Mage? Can you read it?
And now with the flying force of Eric Phillips has been quickly whittled away by...
All right, here's an Eyes in the Skies to make 2 1/1 flyers. We can see Eric's path to victory here. I don't think we're going to see that Murmuring Phantasm stay in Shuhei's deck if he has anything he can bring in that would be better against creatures in the air, because it's clearly not the threat that Shuhei's going to be under next turn. Now Shuhei can steal one of these bird tokens if he wants.
Yeah, that's probably the reason Eric tanked for so long before playing that Eyes in the Skies. But Eric has to figure to himself that if Shuhei does go ahead and steal one of those birds, that means that Shuhei's not going to be able to steal something else.
And something else is, in this case, a hired torturer, as that thing doesn't care how many creatures Shuhei has, and Shuhei's going to need to find a way to deal with that.
Yes, definitely. I'm actually, I guess he could have taken 0, so. Shuhei going to go ahead and steal a bird.
He is going to steal a bird. He's going to do that on end step. And he did not draw a creature here.
Yes, but he does, however, have Deputative Acquittals in his hand.
Yes.
Which he can use to recast one of his walls,
and
which will allow him to give the Simic Manipulator two counters,
yeah.
and then he can go ahead and steal the Hired Torturer.
Nice.
And that will
super sweet. So there's a counter. So he was stealing the bird because it was free.
Yes. And the Hired Torturer is the card that actually matters.
And there it is. The Murmuring Phantasm comes back down. The card behind the nameplate there is Simic Manipulator, and he's going to immediately steal the Hired Torturer. He does not want to let even a single activation go by, and he is just going to pass the turn. And it looks like Eric's going to go ahead and cash in that Clue Stone on end step.
You have now how many cards? 2.
And Shuhei is hellbent, meaning he has no cards in hand. All right, so does Eric have a big play to get himself back in this? Because Shuhei's looking very stable here.
It looks like the most that Eric can muster up at this point is a Rune Wing. Or, only 3 mana. No, it is the Rune Wing, okay.
Yeah, that Mirko Vosk on defense is doing serious work. Shuhei Nakamura at 5 life, but at a fully stabilized board. Are we going to see him start to enact a mill plan here?
I think so. I mean, he has the Doorkeeper. He even has Mirko Vosk if he can
manage to
manipulate enough guys away from the air.
He's a long way from doing that, as 4 of the 5 creatures on Eric's side have flying currently, but it doesn't take too many hits with Mirko Vosk before the game just ends.
No, not at all, and especially because he's going to be ticking away 3 cards a turn through Eric's draw step and the Doorkeeper. Or actually 4 cards a turn, because now he actually has 3 defenders to go with that Doorkeeper.
He does. He stole another one.
Yeah, the Hired Torturer, actually.
Wow, that is a very, very quick clock. All right, here comes the attack step. Eric Phillips, he knows that he can't just sit here. This game will not end well for him if things stay the way that they currently are. Some of the cards that Shuhei's got to be worried about are things like Shadow Slice. You know, if he gets down to 3 life, he can get Shadow Sliced out of this game.
And if I had to guess, I would guess that Eric currently has a...
He's got Fatal Fumes.
Fatal Fumes, okay. So that's going to target Mirko Vosk.
Yep.
And then the bird and the Mirko Vosk are going to get gobbled up by that Asperia Skywatch, and then the Rune Wings are going to trade off here.
Yeah, and he's going to take 3 damage here, too.
Yeah, putting him down to 2.
Both draw. It's a swamp for Shuhei.
It's another
Dagger
flyer.
Drum Imp, another
That's
creature
actually
with flying.
great. Yeah, so it looks like yeah, so he's going to deal 2 damage and get a look at that that Maze Abomination.
Yeah, he has to show him the card.
So I show you 1, right?
At random.
Oh, it's random?
Yeah, so they're going to he's going to show a card at random here. It's this one, and it's not relevant. Now, interesting part about playing that Dagger Drum Imp, though, is that if Shuhei draws a creature, he can steal it, and it's untapped. So he gets to throw that in front of whatever.
And then gain a life.
And gain a life, too, so that could change
But Shuhei does not have a creature in play right now.
Yeah, he gets a draw step
here, He needs to draw one.
I think he did.
Yeah,
What
he
did he draw?
did. It looks like he did, and that makes a big difference.
That
The
makes a
dagger
big
drone
difference.
is-
If Eric Phillips does not play the Dagger Drum Imp, then Shuhei would have to steal the bird token, but the Dagger Drum Imp means that
That's
it's better, but that's still not enough for him.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Eric
his
Phillips
draw
able to
step
steal it
wasn't
out, and it looks like Andrew Longo, Eric Phillips, and Eric Berger
have all taken the first
yeah.
game.
So Longo, Phillips, Berger, the two Erics and an Andy, sweeping game 1.
Wow, that's
Here.
impressive, and it looks like we're deep into game 2 here already. Now, this is the deck, for those of you that were with us a little earlier, that we saw Martin use a draft.
Yeah. Now
Martin's going to ask a question real quick. I think he's actually stepping away from the table to ask the judge a question here.
he stole Andrew's card.
He just took his card. So let's take a look at the board state while Martin has stepped away, though. There's a Dryad Militant carrying a Civic Saber. That's nice. It's a 4-1, and we see Andrew Longo double tap the top of his deck there. Maybe he's hoping to draw something specific. As we see, he's significantly behind on mana.
Yeah, with
So
only
he
2 lands
probably
in play,
just
he's
needs a
actually
land here.
it's not looking great for Andrew.
Oh, there, you know
I mean,
what? There is actually, look at that. There is a Racketeer for Juza. I don't remember him taking it, but I remember.
Yeah, remember late in pack 3?
Is that where it
we
was?
were? We
Yeah.
were pretty excited that he got it, especially
Okay, maybe
considering
that's
he had
what I-
multiple
yeah.
Moss Dogs and.
That's right. I remember now. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's got that Racketeer. And
It also
he's got
works
the
well with his
Moss Dog.
Beastmaster. As well, Beastmaster. The 1/1, 2 green.
I know the card. How does
Yeah.
it work well with it?
Well, he can discard scavenge creatures.
Oh, sure,
and
yeah.
then
Yeah.
scavenge
I
them
think
onto
I was happy with just discarding scavenge creatures.
Yeah.
you didn't need to sweeten the pot.
Yeah. Went even deeper.
All right, so there is another card though here for Andrew Longo. It's the.
I was just debating whether I should put my hand on
Okay, hey, we have a quick update from Rusty, and Lax's team is.
No, you play that game
What do you mean up a match?
One of the matches has won in the
One of
favor
the 3
Ari
matches
Lax's
is up.
team.
Okay, thank you. This is a single elimination
Game 1.
semifinal here.
Left yourself dead to a clean. They're not on board, but I had the muggy. So I could have just.
And now
So there's an incursion specialist up there for Andrew Longo, but right now Martin uses apparently sitting at a pretty healthy 19 life.
I had the 3/1 Jester, and I could pump the paladin 3 times. and pump the-
Doesn't look like he has any reasonable attacks here thanks to the 05 Murmuring Phantasm.
and he does have active tree and pit fight in his hand, which is pretty nice when your opponent has a Dryad Militant with a Civic Saber on it. I think that's probably going to be his play of choice. He can go ahead and active trees in that Dryad Militant. I mean, the Murmuring Phantasm definitely decreases the power level of the play, but
For sure.
Game 1 was pretty sweet.
Also, we see that Martin uses only 1 mana away from crashing some tenements, which is going to make that Murmuring Phantasm look not very good. Martin's probably considering, look, if I want to get rid of this Dryad Militant so that I can crash in there with my Tenement Crasher, you know, he's going to want the way clear, and he's going to want to keep maximum pressure here on Andrew while Andrew's off balance and doesn't have enough lands. I see he's also got a Savage Surge in his hand, so he can use that as a pump spell if he wants, but I think he's going to make the pit fight play here.
yeah.
This is something that we saw. All right, here it is. So I think what he was asking the judge is this going to help him out? You know, is he going to be able to trigger this thing? But he's not. All right, so he's just going to take the Dryad Militant, and he actually just gets an attack here first, right? Is he going to just do it now? No, he's not. Yeah, he's just going to do it right now. So he's going to take out the Incursion Specialist. Those are going to trade off, and they're both going to come in there. So 2 damage is going to hit Eric Longo, and with a land draw next turn, Martin Juza is going to have a pretty nice attack. And unfortunately for Andrew, that is not a land. It can make mana, but it's certainly not a land. All right, so now that's a little bit better, but is this a land? No.
And Martin still can attack.
Yeah, Martin does not have an attack now, right? No, but he
Yeah.
did draw a Flux Charger. Okay, here's a land, and it's even a 3rd color for Andrew Longo, so he plays an Axebane Guardian, but it's not too late for Martin Juza to hit a land, and there it is.
And there's a Tenement Crasher.
Tenement Crasher is going to hit very hard. He's going to be able to attack probably just with the Crasher, I guess. Now he can attack with the 1/5 flyer as well. It's not switched currently, but he can do it. Oh, it looks like he's considering just sending everybody in. He might not mind losing the Viashino Racketeer here if it means getting in for 3 extra damage. The Viashino Racketeer would likely be blocked by the Murmuring Phantasm, but that would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 potential damage here, which is half of the total that Andrew Longo has.
Yeah, and I mean, Andrew's going to have to block the Racketeer here. I mean, if he doesn't block the Racketeer, then it just, you know, it lets Martin just continue to snowball with this board presence.
That's right.
So.
Oh, wow. Eric Berger on the bottom there on the C table has beat Ben Stark 2-0.
Yeah, he's well versed.
Wow, so he actually blocked differently. He's going to
okay.
let Martin keep
I don't
everybody
hate that.
alive.
The X-Men Guardian lives through that,
and we can see part of the reason why. Is that a paralyzing grasp there in hand for Andrew Longo?
It is.
So he can use that to lock down the Tenement Crasher?
Yes.
But still, he's got to be scared here because...
The Flux Charger might just kill him out of nowhere, but...
All right, here it is. Paralyzing Grasp. He's going to hit there. Now, he still has 1 extra mana left over, but I think the only card he can cast in his hand with it is a Bluster Squall. And
yeah, well, he actually has 2 mana. He has 2 defenders in play.
oh, he does have 2 defenders. Thank you.
Yeah, the X-Men Guardian is actually very good here for Longo, but the problem is that he's, you know, he's so choked. He's so behind the board that it's...
I don't think his life total is 18 either, right?
No. After that last
so we need to get a life total
is
update on
Andrew
Longo's side.
I think he's at 12.
Okay, because one of the things that we're going to have to keep an eye on is, remember, Martin Juza has Savage Surge in his hand. He can cast it on his Flux Charger anytime he wants and get in for 7 damage.
And that's just brutal.
Yeah, he can also use it to kill. We did see here that Andrew Longo missed another land drop. It does untap the creature.
So he can use it to untap the Tenement Crasher.
Yes, he can.
And then just kill his opponent, basically.
I mean, he won't kill him here, but he'll get pretty close. He can also use it to run over the Axebane Guardian if Andrew dares block. Remember, Andrew just missed another land drop here. He's got a lot of options here. This is really interesting, because if you're going to use the Savage Surge, you want to do it pre-combat. If you're going to use it to try to get the Flux Charger, or excuse me, the Tenement Crasher going, because that's going to untap it and let it attack. If you don't, then that's fine. He has a different idea in mind, but he's going to use it to run over a mana source here. All right, so he says, sure, I'll just block this one. Wow, he's going to use a Savage Surge right now to take down the Murmuring Phantasm. It does trigger the Flux Charger, so it's going to be 5 damage coming in. I kind of wonder if he could have got more damage out of that, but let's see. Oh, there's another land there for Andrew Longo. But you know, by taking down the Murmuring Phantasm, it was essentially a mana source for Andrew, so it did effectively take out 1 at least. If he could have taken out the Axebane Guardian, it would have been 2.
At this point, Andrew's really got to probably use this Crisis Incubation to shut down the Flux Charger.
The Flux Charger seems to be the scariest thing now. It's not clear that Martin Juza has an instant or sorcery in his hand, but you certainly don't want to live in fear of him drawing anything off the top of his deck and just killing you.
Then again, maybe you have to advance your board state before doing that. Maybe you need to play a Battering Crisis and equip the Civic Saber so that you can trade with the Moss Dog, and then go for the Crisis Incubation next turn. Okay,
interesting. So he's going to lock down the Thrashing Moss Dog, the most immediate threat on the board, and he's just going to hope that there's no instants or sorceries drawn by Martin Juza. He figures he didn't have one in his hand, and he can sit here and just, you know, have to hope that he doesn't have it. All right, attack phase. He's going to attack with the Flux Charger. And yeah, it looks like he's just going to go ahead and send in the Racketeer. Andrew instantly blocks it, and he's going to take 1 damage here to go down to 6. So tick-tock.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew's not going to take that gambit.
No. Another land off the top, so it looks like Andrew has fully recovered from his early mana woes, and he's even got a chance to play a couple of things here. He's got 6 mana now, in really any color he wants. Okay, start off with an equip on the Civic Saber, and he's just going to say go. So what does he have Is it the Bluster Squall that he wants to use? We know he has a battering crisis, and he decided not to cast it. Was that the Maze Behemoth that Martin Juza drew?
Looks like it, yeah.
It is. That's a nice
That
nice
is
draw
a pretty
here.
nice one for him.
Trample, it's huge. All right, is it a totally lost there for Andrew Longo? I think it is. All right, there's the Maze Behemoth. So let's see what Andrew wants to do. He's got to be careful here. He's biding his time. And here it is. He's going to totally lost the Maze Behemoth to put it right back on top of the library. So that means he knows that Martin Juza doesn't have an instant or sorcery here, because he knows what his next draw step is as well.
Yeah, and with that pit fight in Martin Juza's graveyard now, Andrew has a Primordial.
Oh, does he have a Diluvian Primordial?
Yeah, which he now has mana to cast, and then he can
Wow.
use Pit Fight, and he can use that to kill the Flux Charger, which gives him a 5/5 body, and kills the Flux Charger. So that's
Wow.
an incredible card here. And not only that, but then that 5/5 body is going to be able to fight with that Maze Behemoth that's on the top of his opponent's library, and then suddenly, you know, he's ahead on the board because he's a Battering Crisis in his hand.
Yeah.
You know, he's
Yeah.
a Bluster Squall that he's still sitting on.
That's right.
And
So this goes to the graveyard and then state-based actions are checked. So it dies after that.
yeah, suddenly this looks pretty good.
Oh, I think, you know what? I think that pit fight might be exiled. Remember that there was a Dryad Militant on the board when he played it?
Oh, there was a Dryad
Yeah,
Militant
it
on the
used it
board,
to
right?
kill it, but I think it doesn't, it doesn't go to the graveyard, so he's sad face. He has to play the Savage Surge just to untap his Axebane Guardian. That's also exiled now.
Yeah, the
Wow.
Dryad Militant, a card you don't normally expect to interact like that.
That's right, and that's huge because the Flux Charger is still, you know, now something that must be blocked, basically, by the Diluvian Primordial.
Yep. But now, actually, it's the Maze Behemoth is going to trade with the Diluvian Primordial,
That's
and
right.
the Cloudfin Raptor is going to hold that Flux Charger at bay pretty well.
Yes.
I mean,
Okay,
remember,
so
it's a 1/2, so it can block it indefinitely.
Yeah,
and then if the
Cloudfin Raptor,
yeah,
nice
if
draw.
the Power and Toughness gets switched, then the Cloudfin Raptor trades with the Flux Charger, which
Yeah.
obviously Andrew would be very happy about.
All right, so let's see what Martin Juza can come up with. Any type of was that a?
Yeah, that's it.
That's an Armed and Dangerous. Now there is mana on Andrew Longo's side, but Martin Juza, is he just going to go for it here?
If he does, there's just pretty sure he just gets Bluster Squalled, right?
I think he just gets Bluster Squalled, and
Yeah.
actually, he will Bluster Squall the creature that must be blocked.
Yes.
So this is something that's going to be really interesting for Martin. So what's happened is
Or can
Martin
he? Yeah, I guess he can.
he
So
can't
he's
overload
gonna-
it, right? He only has the one defender. So Martin Juza has just drawn Armed and Dangerous, which would normally be a game winner here, but Andrew Longo still has the one card left in his hand, which is Bluster Squall. He can't. It's funny because I think Martin knows that he has it. He says he can't even overload it. So what he's going to be able to do here, though, is he's going to have to make him force him.
Double strike in case he like that. Oh, you did one. And the switches.
Three?
Three, yeah, three.
Just three? So you can't fatal two? So you do have to make sure the guy you're luring doesn't die.
Yeah. I think this gets lured. And this gets double strike.
Yeah, so now no matter how he cuts it,
That's
the
right.
Bluster Squall doesn't even.
And Martin's saying that too. He said he's gonna lure the Racketeer, and then he's gonna give whatever the Maze Behemoth double strike and +1/+1, and that's gonna switch the Flux Charger, and he's gonna attack with everything.
Alright,
Martin says he feels pretty confident that the Racketeer will not die.
Attack phase.
All right, Martin goes to his attack phase, and Andrew Longo says, "Hold on a second," and he says, "I'm gonna Bluster Squall your lure guy, but."
Yep.
This is actually an interesting spot. Remember, though, that's 6 power of double strike trample right there that Martin holds in his hands. Even if the Primordial is to step in front of it, it's going to get wiped out in the first hit, and the second hit is going to carry over to Andrew and finish him off. And the Flux Charger has trample.
Oh yes, because of the Maze
Yeah.
Behemoth. Good call on that one.
Yeah. So this is just a horrible spot now. I don't think that Andrew Longo has any more cards in his hand either. I wonder.
I mean, he's just. I'm pretty sure he's just dead, no matter how he cuts it, right?
Totally dead here.
Yeah, I mean, it's how much? 17 points of trampling damage.
Huh?
And how much can he block with? He has 8, 9, 10, 11.
Wow, he's only going to attack with the Maze Behemoth here.
6. Well, if he attacks with everything, he's just on board, right?
Yeah, he has no more
Well,
cards
he must.
left in
Maybe
hand.
he doesn't realize that the Flux Charger is trample.
That could be.
We didn't realize it at first.
No. Now, the question is, does Andrew have enough toughness to throw in front? Oh, wow. Eric Phillips has beaten Shuhei Nakamura.
Oh, so it looks like this game.
match is over.
Yep.
Right. Just one round, right? I mean, I'm too tired. Okay, good.
That's it. And the super team is down. They are not going to be the ones to advance to the finals.
They got clean swept.
They did.
Swept.
Well, I think Martin would have won that game eventually.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think Martin probably would
But
have
you're right.
that
They did.
third.
As the record will stand, it's 2-0, 2-0. Eric Phillips, Eric Berger over Shuhei and Ben Stark. Wow. Just random. Now, you said